Philip, tell me a little bit about your background.
God, I mean, I probably have one of the shortest CVs in the country. Actually, you know, I've been here at the Square for the best part of a quarter of a century. Prior to that, I had three very important jobs. I started my career working for Rue Restaurants Limited in their contract catering division, working at Kleinwort Benson, where I was introduced to a world of classical cookery that was hugely important because it was about finesse, refinement, classical flavours. Lots of polished technique. I then went and worked for Mark Pierre White at Harvey's and saw what was possible out of a very small kitchen if you've got one seriously talented man in charge. Much more progressive cooking, more contemporary, very exciting opportunity, which really showed me what is achievable with not very much. And then spent a time working for Bendham, which was actually put all that, not finesse actually, but all that focus on refinement to one side, and it's all about flavours, seasonality, and impact. An incredibly important part of my learning. And since then, I've been at the Square.
The Square it is.
The Square it is, absolutely.
What drives you, Philip? What makes you get up in the morning?
Well, I suppose it's quietly changed over the years, but the bottom line is the thing that I still find, the only thing that still delivers real fulfillment for me is cooking. That is the bit that matters. And there are some days when I don't cook as much as I'd like to, but generally speaking, that is the role that I still have in this restaurant. It's very simple. Kitchens are, in many ways, grimy, grotty, horrible places to spend huge amounts of time, but there's a very simple equation that still works as much these days as it did the day I started cooking. If I come in on one day and I prepare something or make something, or one morning, I still get every bit as much fulfillment out of serving that thing or continuing to execute that dish later on that day or the following day. As long as you're contributing to the mise en place of a kitchen, you derive every bit as much fulfillment out of the serving of the food as I did 22 years ago. And that is really what keeps the ball rolling. As soon as you stop contributing, then it just becomes tiring, exhausting, and monotonous and wearing. And so that's a hugely important part of it. Stay involved, and you stay fulfilled. The other part that is inescapable is just simple appreciation of wonderful ingredients. And if you're cooking seasonal food, you're constantly being pushed and pulled in an ever-changing direction, and not an ever-changing direction, but you're constantly having to move because ingredients change, and if you're disciplined with your cooking of seasonal food, then your appreciation of new ingredients coming into season, that never wanes, and I think more and more people have discovered that in the last few years, but that's a really important part of it.
Well, now you put inspiration into other restaurants as well as the Square. What other restaurants are you involved in now?
I have an involvement with a handful of other restaurants that have become an important part of my work. But the Square is where I get up in the morning. Where do I go to work? I come to the Square. This is my professional home. I'm a partner of the Ledbury. The Ledbury came about simply because I had a supremely talented cook in the kitchen who needed a leg up into the big wide world of restaurants, and so the Ledbury really came around because of Brett's a fantastically talented guy. I got on incredibly well with him. We all want to expand our eventually I think we all want to expand our horizons a bit, and Brett, I saw in Brett a possibility for that, and he also needed support. He has taken the Ledbury onto extraordinary places. So whilst I'm an owner and a partner, and I speak to Brett a lot, I have very little to do with the day-to-day runnings of the Ledbury at all. Kitchen W8 was the next restaurant to come along. Again, had a very talented guy in the kitchen. Opportunity to work with a new partner, Rebecca Mascarenas, who is a phenomenal businesswoman and incredibly talented restaurateur. Been at the coalface of running restaurants for an awfully long time, understands them as well as anybody, I have to say. And a slightly different operation, slightly lower key, but still Kitchen W8 has gone on to achieve great things. And then most recently, involvement with Sonny's Kitchen in Barnes, which is a desire to get involved with something at the other end of the market, something much more simple in many ways, local to me at home. As a person, I think and as people, we all go through a journey with food where, in the end, what we want is something that's just simple and delicious most of the time. And Kitchen W8 provides me with an opportunity to professionally contribute to an operation that strives to do nothing more than that, to provide to mostly local folk something simple and delicious to eat.
Who cooks at home?
Who cooks at home? It's probably 50-50, I would say. I am lucky enough to be married to somebody who's a great cook. Jen is a great cook. She's one of those lucky people who can swing the fridge door open and make miracles with very little. She's intuitive. She understands what makes food delicious, very importantly. So she does a lot of the cooking. I have two kids with great appetite and a food fiend of a wife, so I also step into the breach quite often too.
Thank you very much, Philip.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.